Alright, so everybody knows you can defeat armies with powerful armies of your own, but what happens if you challenge superior armies with a mediocre force of your own? Can you actually win? Well, watch and see. Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. This YouTube channel is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of field command and advanced tactics. And we're going to try something unusual here. This is going to be a side branch from our main campaign. We are going to try to fight a superior army with a weaker force and try to destroy it. Now you see a lack of companions. I have like normally 30 or 40, I have like 8. I dumped most of my companions at town, and look at my troops. I've got a whole bunch of scrubby tier 2 and tier 3 troops down here. There's even like militia and trucks and stuff like that. We have a very weak army here. In fact, you'll notice a complete absence of tier 5 and tier 6 units. So no Battanian Fiend champs, no Battanian Fiends even. And the same goes for my 2 companion armies here. These are a couple companions that are part of my army. We'll show you these guys' stats in a second, but look at these troops, right? Very weak troops here. You know, some tier 4 units, but a lot of tier 3 units. We still have militia archers here at the bottom. Highland warriors, like these are tier 2 and tier 3 archers. And we're going to siege this castle. Now, let me show you these guys' stats, too. These guys are not amazing leaders. They have solid skills. You know, of course, their melee skills are deadly. And there's no way I can stop these guys from doing damage in combat. Like, I can't tell them, hey, don't attack. But we're going to besiege this castle here and see if we can't find a force. Hopefully, it's a force that's reasonably enough sized. Actually, that's just about perfect. I would prefer it was our numbers, but we're willing to take on a larger force with this force here.
Halt.
This is Empress Emeris, the Northern Empire fucking guy. Now look at their army. Let's see here. This is a better way to do it. Here's the troops in their army, and look at their army. Imperial Palatine Guard. These are all, in fact, all of those units at the very top. They're all tier 5. Or tier 6 for the Imperial Elite Cataphracts. So 46 Elite Cataphracts, 40 Elite Manavliatons. There's more Imperial Cataphracts at the bottom there. Basically, we don't have any of those kind of troops in this battle. We have all tier 4 and below. It looks like I can't show you my army. But from what I showed you already, and of course, if you need to go back, feel free to go back. We'll use normal player damage here. But what we're effectively going to try to do here is a kill box with these junior crews here. I got to get some captains assigned, but this map should work. It's a little bit tight. It doesn't have quite as much space as I'd like, and I wish there was no trees so you could see the tactics better. Let's get some of these captains assigned here. It's inevitable that my companions are going to kill some guys here in my campaign. If you don't know anything about it, I have very high-level companions and family members. Actually, I want her in charge of one of the archer divisions for speed. Increased troop movement speed banners. These banners to me are gold. To be able to move units quickly is gold, especially when you're going to do a tactic that's called the Killbox. This is something I've been evolving for a while. So we'll get these captains assigned. But the main idea of the Killbox is to drag the enemy to a location. As you're doing that, you're hitting them with arrows, you're hitting them with crossbow bolts. And then effectively you attack the enemy from multiple sides, right? You attack them with infantry on their flanks. It's a little bit of the combination of Hannibal's tactics at Kenai. You should definitely research that if you're interested in tactics. And Hammer and Anvil. Hammer and Anvil is the other component of it, where you bring in cav behind the enemy that's attacking your infantry with their infantry, and you slam them from behind with cavalry. Now, I've got a problem with that component of the strategy here in this battle. I don't know if you can tell. I have like 30 cavalry. Because cavalry tend to be a higher level, and we don't have any higher level troops in this battle, we're severely understaffed for cavalry here. So the full kill box will be a little bit difficult to perform here, but nevertheless we're gonna see if we can't win this battle significantly outnumbered, and then obviously outgunned. The enemy very clearly has better troops than us. Alright, so I'm going to get one archer division, the crossbow division on that far side, the skirmishers on this side, and then the center of our army is the 1st infantry guarding the 5th archers. And the 5th archers, of course, are going to be doing a lot of damage. Over here, these are crossbowmen, and these cav are strictly here in shield wall to try to limit how much the enemy heavy horse comes in and plows us. Now, I don't have very much cavalry, so I'm not going to be able to defend like I would normally do. I would normally have 30 or 40 cav there. But we're going to try to do our best here with this highly handicapped army. Okay, they're charging in with heavy horse on both sides. They have 67 heavy horse on this side. And we're going to take a beating from this. That's just all there is to it. Fortunately, these are skirmishers, so what I can do with these guys is I can form them into squares or into shield walls and minimize the losses. In fact, I don't think I saw a single loss there. There's the first loss from that. Now, I'm going to try not to fight in these battles. That's kind of difficult for me to do. Fighting at this stage is almost like, you know, like if you put a bag of Doritos in front of most people, they're just going to eat them. I swing my polearm like I'm sleeping. My archers here were getting plowed a little bit by Cav, so we're going to pull them back a little bit. But the Killbox is still, we're still going to be able to enact this. You see their main vanguard is charging in here. Far superior units to our little ghetto infantry here. And now we start the kiting process, right? On the far side over here, we're going to actually bring the skirmishers in behind the enemy. That way all of the javelins that they're throwing are literally hitting the guys in the back. We've got a couple Cav screen walls there, hopefully going to protect those guys a little bit. I'm thinking about putting these crossbowmen, these crossbow archers over here into a square. But I need to use these guys too, so it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. And of course they're getting plowed by elite cataphracts, right? Alright, so the enemy's bearing down on my infantry. I gotta move these guys back. And the archers I'm going to start to offset from the infantry. That way these guys can also get enfilade fire on the enemy. And the enemy has to attack one of those two units. If they attack the infantry, we'll simply pound them with archers. If they attack the archers, of course, we'll kite and pound them with javelins and attack them from behind with our infantry. Our crossbow division is taking quite a beating. I didn't get into a good defensive position fast enough. But you can see the Killbox is now in effect. The enemy's being pounded with different ammunition. The skirmishers here, you can see the javelins flying in there. Even though they're low-level javelin throwers, you know, I got tier 3 guys in here, tier 4 guys. There might even be some tier 2 in there. They're still capable of killing the enemy, especially if they're hitting the enemy from behind, which is what they're doing, right? You can see how they're literally on the other side of the enemy, and the enemy's in the middle now in their just classic fishball configuration. I call it a fishball because if you pull off a tactic like this correctly, if you pull off a good kill box, the enemy doesn't know what to do, and eventually they start to freak out and form like the same fishball you see on the Nature Channel when the what is it, like the anchovies and whatnot are getting torn apart by superior intelligent mammals, right? When the dolphins are eating the anchovies out of total primal fear behavior, the anchovies just tend to ball up. I got this fuck chasing me here. And that's what's happening with this enemy force here. They got like 200 infantry that's just being obliterated. You can hear the arrows and everything pounding them, and they don't know what to do, right? And anybody they attack here, we just simply move them back, right? They're getting kind of close to our 5th archers here. I can simply move those guys back. Now we're going to surround these guys and destroy them. So on the backside, I have the skirmishers collapsing on them. The front, the 1st infantry, and the crossbows behind me, they're going to be like the coup de grace, basically falling in here on them. And you can see the death span. These are low-level troops just mauling the enemy infantry. Now we're suffering some losses. I didn't really have these 5th archers perfectly positioned, mostly because I'm anticipating the next wave already. Yeah, it's so hard not to kill these guys. I'll try not to do that because I understand I can swing the battle in our favor here. But that first wave, they're gone. They're all dead. So we're going to hold fire here. We're going to wait for this next enemy wave. We'll send them off with one parting shot here. Fuck you guys. Bring more enemies next time, right? That wasn't enough. You guys were unsuccessful. We'll bring our mediocre-ass army up here. We're going to start stretching them into the same kind of configuration to set up the next kill box. Yeah, see what they got. They got 146 infantry, 292 archers, right? And about 40 heavy cav on both wings. Now they're still reforming. It's going to be a brief minute here before they're set up. But I think you already get a taste for what's going on here. Now, we suffered more losses there than I'm actually happy with. I just realized something I didn't do. See, I want to kill these guys so bad. I don't have enough archers in my 5th Corps. I keep looking at the number, and it's 21. So what I didn't do is I didn't balance out my archer divisions. Even though they're scrubs, if you get enough archers on the flank of the enemy, you're going to be able to absolutely pound them with arrows. And we just don't have enough. I have too many archers in the 5th Division, and not enough in the 4th. Still, it worked pretty well, right? We swallowed up that enemy infantry and devoured them pretty well. This time we're going to play a little bit more defensive there with our crossbow. We're there in a shield wall. These guys are still pounding the enemy as they come in and as they leave. Yeah, I want to kill these guys bad. But I don't think I have to fight. I just don't think it's going to be necessary. We're still scoring kills. We're going to be able to pull off another tactical maneuver here as the enemy comes in. And I think victory is highly probable in this battle. See these guys back here getting shot to pieces. It does highlight one of the things in Bannerlord that is very apparent to me, and I think most people are pretty aware of it. I think archers are generally too powerful. If you play Bannerlord long enough, you will discover that enemy forces with archers are harder to defeat than enemy forces with lots of heavy cav and lots of infantry. And I think, especially tactically, with the way how quickly guys move and then they can draw their weapons, archers could probably use a little nerf in the future. Now, it's unlikely they're going to do that, but it kind of makes sense from a balance standpoint. You can look at it from this perspective. Obviously, in Siege, look at this guy, just won't even attack me. I'm trying to get these guys to attack me, and they're just, like, feeble. Obviously, in Siege, archers are already highly beneficial, borderline superior to infantry. So it doesn't make sense that they would also just crush the enemy on the battlefield. All right, here they come. Enemies bringing in their main vanguard again, and we don't have the full kill box here. I have no cav, but what we can do is we can use our divisions here in offset formations and basically overpower the enemy. We can get flanking ability on them. I've got some decent infantry here. At least these guys have shields. Again, there's no tier 5. It's not like we have a bunch of elite Napolitans and legionnaires, but I don't think it's going to matter. All right, right now the enemy's actually taking up a defensive position and shooting at us. That's fine. We get to demonstrate some offensive tactics. So we're going to surround this enemy force here. We're not going to waste your time. Not going to waste my time or your time. We'll surround this enemy force here, do some flanking stuff here, and then see if we can't finish these guys off. Now the 4th here is acting like bait, basically. I am charging forward with the 4th, full head of steam. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want them taking all of the arrows. So I don't want our infantry getting shot. I don't want our delicate archers getting shot. I'm actually back here kind of distracting them by accident. But that 4th division is sacrificial. They're charging forward because I want to use these other movements and move them into position while those guys buy us time. You see them like literally running right up to the enemy. That's what I want. I want the enemy distracted by them. This is, you know, Sun Tzu. This is all warfare is deception. It looks like they're charging the enemy, and that's absolutely not what they're there for. They are simply there to distract the enemy while we move these other positions to their flank and eviscerate their force. Archers come up here hard on this formational side here. And at this stage, these guys, this 4th, they've exceeded. I didn't think they were going to get that far. We'll move them past now, but they've done their job. They have sure distracted the shit out of the enemy. Our infantry is now bearing down on the enemy, and we're now ready to kill. So the archers are told to charge, the 6th is told to charge, the 1st, which is right in front of the enemy and largely undamaged, right? They barely saw any combat. They get told to charge. We'll send in these last handful of cavalry here just to make it complete, but I don't think this is going to matter much. The enemy archers don't really have a good line to shoot anybody except my archers here on the side. And I'm just going to mingle amongst my guys here. It's kind of fun to watch these scrubby troops just killing guys left and right. Look at my little tier 3 infantry here is just charging in. It's not a massacre, but the green is more prevalent on our side, right? There's significantly more green for us than for the enemy. Their archers are kind of, let's kick some of these, get back in there and get killed. We'll do some karate kicks here. I'll allow that for my character in this battle. But now you can see the battle's over. We swallowed up that force. Their archers are trying to reform. They don't really have anywhere to go. What is that? That's actually reinforcements. Oh, you know what? This is our first reinforcement wave. I kind of didn't realize that. We'll do some more kicks here. So these are archers that are coming in. These guys are now shooting exactly the way the enemy wants to run. That first battle was such a destructive rout that we didn't even get reinforcements in it, even though the enemy had much better troops and we were outnumbered. And I didn't, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed with my own tactical awareness there. I simply didn't have the archers set up correctly. I didn't have enough archers in the 4th Corps. I didn't protect the 4th Corps early enough in that battle. But ultimately, as you can see here, doesn't matter, right? Absolutely butchered the enemy here. I think they're routing. I think that's it. With all, look at these scrubby troops wearing their fucking cloth armor. And we just absolutely put this veteran, high-level enemy army to bed. Good night, fellas. I mean, what an ass whooping. Let's run over some of these guys. They can have some ignominious ground time here. Eat the ground there, dude. Yeah, the rest of the infantry is looks like it's spawning onto the battlefield and just running away. There's a few guys here that are kind of trying to attack, but as you can see, this battle is over. And again, I think if this doesn't demonstrate the value of tactics, I don't know what will, right? Like this is, look at these scrubs. These are tier 3, tier 2 units. Granted, our companions did major damage in this battle. I guess I could dump every companion, but then I wouldn't even have guys to lead units. That wouldn't be very realistic at all. You're going to have companions in your own game. Obviously, you won't have level 35 companions, but I don't think the companions had an incredibly overwhelming effect in this fight. And of course, I've had virtually no effect, right? I normally get 50 or 150 kills in a battle like this, and apart from these few guys I'm kind of running over for fun with my horse, I stayed largely out of this battle. Here come these scrubby infantry, right? You can see it's still scrubs on the battlefield. It's not like we snuck in a bunch of legionnaires. And these guys, they get to celebrate, right? Conquered these legionnaires, just rolled them up. You know what I'm actually going to do? Okay, so we suffered 300 losses. That's a lot. Look at how many upgrades we got. 326 upgrades. That's amazing, right? Okay, so our companions did get quite a few kills. 30, 50, 70... They got about 120, 125 kills, but still, I mean, we got 847 kills. So there were still 730 kills by the rest of our army, right? And these are low-level troops. You can see our troops here, veteran infantrymen, militia infantry veteran. And the enemy has over here, they have elite cataphracts and battalion champs. We basically, this was like a sophomore football team schooling the varsity team, right? We just came in with superior game plans, and butchered them. You see our archers did pretty well. Definitely a resounding victory. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to reload this battle. I'm going to dump even more of our high-level troops. Let's make this even harder. Let's try to show the value of the Killbox. This time I'll pull off a correct Killbox, and we will try this in a way that I consider more precise. How about that? So we're going to just stay tuned. We're going to have a whole separate battle. I mean, it's the same battle, but we're basically going to try to demonstrate the superiority of tactics. All right, so we're back, and you can see we have 554 troops for this second run here. I've just reloaded the game, the exact same game. Hopefully the same army attacks us, but we have now, I'm jumping the rest of these. We have now no tier 4 units at all, or tier 5 or 6, obviously. So all tier 3 and 2 in our army, and then let me show the companions. I didn't dump every single one of their tier 4 units, just because then we would have so few troops that I don't think we'd have any chance. We may not be able to win this battle anyways, but it's all tier 3 units and then a handful of tier 4 sprinkled in. You can see the same thing with her. It looks like she has maybe 40 or 50 tier 2 units, just because I couldn't dump their whole army, right? If I dumped all our tier 4 and above units, then we'd have like 300, well, maybe 400 troops, and we'd have no chance. Still, nevertheless, if this same army comes in, we're going to be outnumbered now almost 2 to 1, and have almost an entire, here he comes. He's going to have almost an entire army full of tier 3 and below troops. And you can see he's still stacked, right? Imperial Elite Cataphracts, 46 of etc. It's the exact same army, obviously. They're coming in here. And as you can see, now the power bar is significantly in the enemy's favor, right? Basically, the computer is saying, you're not going to win this battle. But we shall see. We're going to do some Killbox here. Again, take a look at his troops. I mean, he's just got elite troops. Legionnaire 22, Palatine Guard. Those are all tier 4 and 5, or 5 and 6, excuse me, at the top. And of course, we don't have any of those troops. All right, so virtually the same battlefield. Maybe they put us in a little different spot here for some reason, but this should work. It's nice and flat and open. And again, we're going to do a proper kill box. That means this time I'm going to increase the amount of archers that are in my 4th division. Our 4th division and 5th division, of course, in a tactic like this is vital. And of course, I just don't have the heavy cav. You really want to, in a proper kill box, you also slam the enemy in the back at the end of the battle with heavy cav. I don't have that, but we're still going to be able to hit the enemy with 4 different units in a flank. And I think this is going to be, I think this can still be effective. It is possible that we just lose this battle, but if it's close enough, you know, I will include it in the video. And what I mean by that is, if this is a blowout, I'm basically just going to be, you know, and we get crushed, I'll just be talking to myself, and I won't include it. I won't include it in the video. You'll just never know about it. But I'm gonna treat this, you know, I'm gonna treat this like it's a battle we must win, and do a little bit more focused here. So you can see now the 4th division has a lot more archers, and I think that's going to be a big difference from the first one. We're going to do a proper kill box here.
Archers! Move! Bowman! Move! Forward! Cavalry! Forward! Move! Cavalry!
You can see our 2 little pitiful cav divisions here. I'm actually putting all of our cav this time on our right flank, or left flank, and the reason I'm doing that is because I really want to protect those archers. In the front, it's the same as last time, in the 1st and the 4th, and then on this side is skirmishers. The reason I'm doing that is because the skirmishers can protect themselves. Obviously, the skirmishers, I can put them in a square, I can put them in a shield wall, and these cav will defend that left flank a lot better. I'm gonna try to do no fighting in this battle. All right, so the enemy coming in, a few of them will get jammed up on our cav there, and our infantry here we can also shield wall. That way it limits how many casualties we get from their cav. Of course, these archers are vulnerable. I can see them with their little Santa hat, right? These tier 3 and whatnot Sturgian units. Deaths are inevitable. We're just going to do the best we can. This time I've got our 4th division defended early enough, protected early enough, and the kiting begins, right? The enemy's coming in. We're going to switch the 1st division back to line formation. We're going to stretch out the 6th behind the enemy. And this time we're going to put them in a shield wall early on, too, to protect them from archers and protect them from enemy heavy cav that's charging through. Again, the enemy cav is predictably causing a lot of losses here. We're going to offset our infantry and archers right away, too. You can see in this 4th division now has a beautiful angle on the enemy. It's already shooting the enemy effectively in the back. Now, I'm nervous about them, right, because they're getting pounded with heavy cav, but I think they're just going to have to hold their ground. So the 1st division gets told to kite, and we're going to bring in the 6th now behind the enemy. I know they're getting charged and killed, but we need, look at these javelin throwers. These like tier 3 guys, they're still going to do really good damage to the enemy with their javelins, right? Especially because they're throwing javelins behind the enemy. So 5th archers slightly offset, and my distancing is correct. So we're going to be able to fishball this fucking infantry division. They've got a handful of legionnaires that are sort of straying from their main pack, but I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is the 200 guys in the middle there. And they got Malavliatons. I just want to come in here and smoke these guys, but we're gonna be passive this whole episode. So skirmishers are doing their job. I see javelins flying in. These archers have a nice angle on the enemy. They're pounding them. We're going to continue to stretch them out and make sure that that enemy division never reaches them. This infantry division, same thing. It's basically, you know, we're playing a game of tag, and we're just incredibly elusive. We know how to play tag better than the enemy here. Now, to pull off a kill box, you obviously have to have very good understanding of where you are on the battlefield. Your spatial awareness has to be excellent. Your understanding of what units are where. Like, I know the 6th is there, the 5th is there. These are things that you only gain with time. But look at the effectiveness, right? This enemy force cannot get to us. This infantry division is being pounded, and the only thing they have to attack us with is this cav line, right? These heavy cav. Well, the problem with this heavy cav is they're now being shot to pieces too, because we now outnumber them, right? We have all of these archers. Occasional guy gets mowed down by a heavy horse. but it's basically like 200 units attacking their cav. Well, now it's time to obliterate this infantry division, right? They're starting to really get cut down. Their numbers are grievously reduced. And there's a hidden part of this. The enemy may not be dead, but a lot of their units are badly wounded from this beating, right? They're being shot. You can see all the arrows flying in. The guys who aren't killed are severely wounded. So even though we're going to charge them with 4 different divisions here, we're going to have weakened units on their side, and our units are largely at full health. So this attack, we're going to do the 4th infantry, or the 4th crossbow rather, we're going to put them in shield wall. The 6th I'm now dragging towards me. The 5th archers are going to be told to charge. The 1st infantry goes into shield wall, and they get dragged in here as well. And now everybody charges, right? You can still see the bolts are hammering the enemy, and now the enemy dies. Everybody charges. You can see the 6th is coming in behind them. The 5th archers aren't really charging because they still have ammo, so they're pounding them at range. And we're suffering some deaths, but mostly I see legionnaires getting trucked by militiamen. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah, I want to kill these guys so bad, but we're going to play completely passive here. And the death spam says it all, right? The enemy archers, of course, because of the kiting effect, are not effective. They're not in the battle. We've been pulling back so far that they're like out of the battle. But their infantry's dead. That whole vanguard just got vaporized by a bunch of scrub troops, right? It almost brings a tear to my eye. Look at these guys. I mean, they're digital pixels, but if these were real guys, they would be so fucking thrilled. They just totally trucked an elite division of troops just through tactics, right? We'll run over some of these guys just to embarrass them a little bit here. But our infantry division's now charging their weakened archers, and these die, you bastard! Our infantry is going to be more than the match for their archers at this stage. Now we're going to move our 5th division on the enemy flank here, so if they do turn and try to shoot at us, they're going to have a nasty surprise waiting for them. They're going to have archers shooting them right away. What? That's fucking routed. Those are routing troops. I mean, they're also low level. These are a lot of tier 3 and tier 4 units, but these troops have flat out fucking routed. They're heading into the sunset because presumably these guys are shooting at me. I couldn't help but kill one of them. Presumably they just watched from the sideline, so to speak. Their higher level tier mates get obliterated, and they want nothing to do with the battle. Right? That's amazing. The enemy's routing. So they still have quite a few troops here, but we put on such a beating. We probably, I don't know, I never even saw reinforcements. We put on such a beating here that the rest of their troops literally are just heading for the exits. Knock a few more guys down here. Reminds me of that scene in Open Range where he's like, now put your dicks in the dirt. We're victorious. And of course my 8th Corps and my elite companions did some damage, but I think the bulk of the damage here is being done by these scrubby troops, these tier 3, in some cases tier 2 troops. Look at this, Battanian Raider, Veteran Spearman, Soldier. These are militia. And we mauled, you know, a fully upgraded enemy army of almost twice our size too, right? What a fucking beating. Of course, we do have companions like this. Elea, she's badass. But that was pure tactics. That was pure spacing. Holy fuck, what a massacre. We lost 87 total troops. We get 304 upgrades. And we obliterate an army almost twice our size, right? And our companions didn't do that much damage. It's not like 30 for each guy. It's 8, it's 5, it's 14. The majority of the damage here is being done by these mediocre troops. Look at this. Sturgeon Hunter killed 41. I think that's tier 3 archers. Skirmisher killed 27. Okay, so if the first battle, hopefully, if the first battle didn't convince people that tactics are the key to dominating a Bannerlord, how could this not convince you, right? This is absolutely empirical, that superior tactics, granted they're not easy tactics to pull off, but I think this unequivocally shows the value not only of tactics but the Killbox. I kind of thought when I was developing and creating videos on the Killbox that it was going to be immensely popular, and the feeling I get, the hunch I get, is that it's not that popular yet because people either haven't seen the videos or they're struggling to perform the tactics. And I grant you it's difficult. You have to have excellent spatial awareness. My career in the military and the fire service has helped me with that. But we have instructional videos, folks. If you want to pull off a Killbox in your own campaign, I have instructional videos that walk you through it A through Z, right? From start to finish. And I'm confident you guys out there can have this kind of similar dominance with your Killbox. Now look at all these upgrades, right? More proof that it was just scrubs that won this battle for us, right? This is like tier 2 and tier 3 units, almost the entire list. In fact, it is. There's not a single tier 4 guy on this entire list. And the enemy is sent home packing. All right, friends, another successful video. I was very happy with the results of the second battle, not so much the first, but please comment, let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe and like and all that good stuff, and I will see you friends next time. Oh, I should put in at the end here that this was entirely made at the suggestion of one subscriber. I'm not patronizing people for thousands of subscribers or you know, there's no ads here. I'm not monetized. I'm just having a good time with Bannerlord, and as you'll find, I'm quite responsive to people. So if you want to see a specific battle or a certain challenge taken on here on the channel, we will try it, right? I can't always promise that I'll be responsive. I do have a life. My wife and I will go traveling and whatnot, but if I'm available and I can, I'll be happy to take on a challenge for you on sort of a custom basis. So thanks again for watching, friends, and now I will see you guys next time.